and what he can do in these team fights, and we'll just have to see how it's going to go. As you can see at the top of your screen, both of these teams, 4-1. So many pick'ems lie in the balance right here, as well as that coveted first seed. Being able to dodge so many big teams. As Clid is going to spot most of Fnatic making their way out, and that is going to be a huge advantage. Going over to Fnatic, the first CS on their side. So you see that 2.5 top of the screen?
Yeah, I do.
It's 2.5 something.
True.
For Fnatic.
Well, one of the things that is so powerful about this Fnatic team composition that Gen.G doesn't really have going for it, Malphite, his items are going to cost less, and he's able to do more with them than the Renekton. Likewise, Lulu, her really big 2-item spike, it's only 4,400 gold.
Yeah. So and also is Lucian, an item spike for other people at the same time.
Right. So it bolsters all of the teammates, it makes them so much stronger, and it's so oppressive once you get into it. Now, against Lucian, I'm curious to see what Nemesis is actually going to try to do. We could see something like Protobelt on Lulu as first item, which would obviously stifle the traditional Athenes and Ardent Sensor combo that he could be going for, or he might just end up actually being forced to pick up an early Seekers. But no matter what, Fnatic, they not only outscale their opponents, almost all of their champions' items cost less than their opponents, so they need less gold to work with.
And that is frightening, because that means that when you're looking at the top of the screen, and at any point, if Gen.G have an advantage, you have to really do some math to figure out whether it's actually an advantage in a game like this. As Gen.G will need to push very aggressively early. Now, I do want to talk about BDD playing the Lucian. So far this year, when he does pick this champion, it is extraordinarily difficult to beat him. As you can see already, playing hyper-aggressive up against Nemesis. This is, of course, how this matchup goes, but even managing to get that cute little double tap onto the Lulu is, yeah, this is going to be a rough lane for Nemesis. If he hangs in there, like you mentioned, I mean, this game does have a lot of parallels to what TSM attempted to do against Gen.G. Selfmade making his way towards the mid lane as, okay, Relentless Pursuit now on cooldown. Polymorphed as well. And BDD has to flash to get himself out. That is the flash from Selfmade, and he does get himself the Whimsy Shield. And First Blood goes down as BDD pops the Gen.G flare and then heads towards the Death Chamber.
And this is a really, really, really good start for Fnatic. Stifling the Lucian is the best thing that they could ever hope for, because Gen.G's entire game plan in the early stages revolves around him, primarily. Now, obviously, Renekton, Nidalee, this is a bread and butter duo. It's the evolution of Renekton and Elise. Let's see what is going to happen here.
Yep, Spear is going to connect. Flash out from Whippo. Is Rascal in trouble? He's going to flash away, and that's going to be cleared. Locking down the kill. Primal Surge keeps him alive, and somehow Gen.G navigate it, but teleport coming forward. Nemesis, Skippy comes on in, and that is going to be a dead Nidalee and double buffs over to the Fnatic mid laner.
And this is going to mean that Malphite now goes into mid lane, and he's fine. He has double cloth armor.
I mean, this is the matchup we were looking for, right? Here we go.
BDD is trying to threaten the freeze right now. Trying to hold the lane, and Nemesis now with the double buffs as well. I mean, it's so oppressive. He's going to be able to stay in top lane. And this is one of the beautiful things about Fnatic's mid and top dynamic. Lulu can beat Renekton, Malphite can beat Renekton, Malphite can beat Lucian.
What were you talking about? Got to keep them buffs alive, LS. That's what we've got to do. These buffs are going to last the entire game. Just going to refresh them over and over again. Not entirely sure what happened there, guys, but Rascal did end up picking up a kill onto Nemesis in the 1v1. Whippo's going to turn up. He gets found on a ward, and this is all going to hell in a handbasket as in goes Clid with the pounce. Whippo in a bit of trouble, looking for the safety of his turret. Cull the Meek is gigantic, burning down with the red buff, but does have the potion. As now Rascal getting in behind this turret. Slice Dice looks for another Cull the Meek, but he might just be dead here as he goes back towards the turret, but it doesn't grab him. There are minions still there. This is so dicey. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, there are kills going down, but we do not want to go down there. We want to see what happens here. Spear goes wide, BDD looking for the double tap onto Whippo, doesn't find it, but in goes Rascal. He's going to die, but look, it's all about those buffs. They're just going to go into the nether. And Gen.G do manage to win out top lane and bottom lane, by the way. We will probably get a replay of what happened down there, and a much better start for Gen.G this time around.
Yeah, and I mean, this is a very, very rough start, especially because Fnatic had opened this so well.
Yeah.
They got the first blood on the Graves. They traded 1-for-1 up in top lane. Let's take a look at how this replay transpired. So they're trading into quite a lot of minions. The cannon there as well. Hitting a little bit. Hylissang just gets rooted up, and Mr. Years is here.
Yep, the flash forward.
Has the Gravitum. And Reckless just barely trying to run away, but not going to be enough. And so Gen.G, now they're the ones with the massive lead down in bottom.
Yikes. Remember, last time these two teams met, the exact opposite thing happened. We remember the damage numbers that Ruler was able to put out regardless. We'll see whether Reckless can pass the same test. It's Clid here towards the bottom side. Ooh. In goes Hylissang yet again, but Clid's in a great position. Life with so much heals as well as Infernum. The AoE damage is gigantic, and Reckless can't get into the fight, but he's called his buddies. Self-Made and Nemesis have turned up. Wild Growth available here for the Lulu. And we have to remember what we were talking about before, LS. It's a 2.3 thousand gold lead.
Yes.
Fnatic's team comp scale's real good.
Yeah.
So they're not, I wouldn't start calling anyone to be sad just yet.
Well, we'll definitely see what the mid-game has in store for us. Fnatic also have a lot of time, given that the Ocean Dragon's the first one of the game, not the biggest. And so if you're a Fnatic fan, and you're watching, and you're wondering, well, how could this get good for us?
Hylissang.
There's no kill there. Lulu and Leona, even if they would land everything, Lucian would not die. But second Cloud Dragon coming up, that would buy Fnatic the most time possible. So if this ends up going Ocean and then Cloud and then something else like Mountain, Mountain would be very nice for Fnatic because they have Malphite.
Yep.
They also have Leona. Graves as well with his grit gets quite a lot of armor in late game team fights.
And it's also going to be the only real armor that he'll get as well. It doesn't build a lot of it, so it does mean that stacking those mountains is even more important, as Clid is going to be able to take down the Ocean. And the Cloud Drake does come in, so you might be getting your wish here, LS, as it's Infernal or Mountain this game. Rascal with a big minion wave underneath his turret. It's looking like he's going to be pretty safe. Dominus still available. As looking to try and fight Bwipo here just a little bit. Keldamik going to clear out the minion wave and the Malphite at the same time, and he doesn't have a lot of mana. Does good old Bwipo, so he's looking to try and get into this river and maybe look for a potential reset as the waves will meet once again. Rascal looking to come on over. Clid in the area as BDD can roam in to try and deny this steal. It's going to be a smite off between the two of them. Spear finds Self-Made, and he almost misses that smite, but it was in the end perfectly calculated. As Shelly going to crash her way into the wall. Self-Made ults himself out of this one, but now Rascal and Bwipo, they're going to be fighting. This is actually going to segue pretty beautifully into Shelly being taken here by Gen.G. They will do exactly that, try and extend this lead ever further.
Yeah, and right now, Gen.G, they're in a pretty comfortable position, though. All things considered, they're going to get the Rift Herald very early, and it's important that they're the ones getting it, because they're the ones that don't scale. They need to keep accelerating and trying to get as much gold as they possibly can. Now, BDD is doing as much as he can to sort of lessen the problems that might appear in mid-game. He's gone for the Miramana build, as well as he has a call on Lucian. And he is very deep into that. Ruler as well down in the bottom lane. You love to see it. He has another call as well. And they're stacking up a minion wave right now. Nemesis is going to go the route of the supportive Lulu, and so his items are going to come online pretty quick.
Yeah. I think there should be a bit of a spike where Nemesis can certainly boost up mostly the damage of Self-Made. I think Wild Growth does work very, very well with the short-range Graves, keeping him alive and also allowing him to dish out a bit of extra damage with that Ardent Sensor being possible. But Reckless will also benefit greatly from any augmentation. I'm looking forward to seeing whether Fnatic will be able to get some of these team fights working out, as in goes the Zenith Blade. Hylissang actually changing targets here as Life trying to get out. Cosmic Radiance not used at all, and in fact Nemesis just flashes and grabs that kill onto the Taric. Whether it was available yet as Clid turns up. Ruler down here, just clearing out minions where he can.
Now, I'm a little bit surprised that Clid didn't just immediately run into mid lane, because BDD had a wave and they have the Rift Herald. So they could have just cracked the entirety of the turret. He's going to do it right now, it seems. He's running back there.
And Life was level 6, had the ult available, just didn't press the button. I thought maybe like I just couldn't recognize the color change.
Yeah, this is a very big problem though, right now for Fnatic. This Lucian is enormous. 103 CS, almost a cult.
Denial, like it, like it. There we go, some silver linings. Yeah, and look, you're exactly right. The Lucian is a gigantic problem, but I'm also looking at this Aphelios sitting at 2 and 0. He's the late game insurance that is supposed to come online later, and right now he's getting towards being online far sooner. You know, it's like someone in the 90s being teleported to the present and then being presented with getting onto the internet.
Yeah.
You don't need to wait for that dial-up anymore, apparently, when it comes to the Aphelios. He's just snap right in there.
The other really big problem for this is that the Aphelios is going to be so big. He's accelerating at a very unnatural speed, and Reckless still doesn't have his Tear of the Goddess yet. Doesn't have the Monomune picked up, so he's not even begun to start stacking that item, and that's going to mean that Senna is going to be very stifled from where Reckless would assume or expect himself to be at certain points inside of the game. And so that is also going to be another problem that Fnatic's going to have to fight back through. 4,500 gold lead right now for Gen.G. They are definitely the ones in the lead. Cull about to be completed for Lucian. Shortly thereafter for Ruler as well. And this is going to be a very, very rough game for Fnatic to try to come back from. If they're going to do it, they need a Mountain Drake to probably roll, and then they need an explosive team fight around that third dragon.
We'll see whether they can get to it. Right now, like you say, it's looking pretty dicey. 15 seconds on the Cloud Drake, and then that one will be available. Looks like positional advantage well and truly in favor of Gen.G. If they do want to take that one down, I think we're all interested to see exactly which rift we're going to be presented with afterwards. The Mountain, you know, theoretically, if it's Mountain Soul, and then Fnatic find a miracle team fight and then stack up 4 of them, it's looking like a game that they can run away with. However, right now, Gen.G have such a huge lead. Cresting 6,000 at about 13 minutes into the game. It's, and there we go. Okay. We just made eye contact, LS and I, so I wasn't paying attention to the Mountain Soul, but I saw in his eyes that that's exactly what had happened.
Doctor Strange just raised his finger. Is pretty much what just happened. Oh, man.
Oh, no.
Well,
at least we know which Infinity Stone you have.
yeah. This is looking bad for Fnatic, but the stars are aligning if there's going to be any hope for them to come back inside of this game. Really nice by Rascal.
Yep, get himself out of there.
Yep.
Athenes is complete for Nemesis, but the Infinity Edge is done on the other side of the rift for Ruler. Did very recently have to use that cleanse, but does have his flash available. It's only Life that doesn't have his up.
Here's the problem, is that in a normal game, this Athene's Ardent Censer combo, because it's so cheap, it comes online, the opponent only still has 1 item, but these items are so powerful with each other, and they work off each other because of their passive, so it becomes really scary to deal with. However, because BDD is so far ahead, 5 plates inside of him, as well as a turret, the Cull as well, he's going to be at 2 items around the same time as Lulu, and that's just not, that's illegal.
Yeah, it is. Absolutely illegal. Shout out to Cadril there. I do really like the illegal lines. Try and incorporate them in the LCK, if Cadril will let us. Of course, as Ruler is going to be able to take down this outer turret on the bottom side of the map. That is going to be the second for Gen.G, like you say. BDD was able to grab all of the plates. Unfortunately, that last one went begging for Ruler. Beggars can't be choosers. He's not going to be too worried. Goes back, grabs himself a Zeal, and he's heading towards item number 2 very, very swiftly. Likely to be the Runan's Hurricane. Certainly has been a favorite for him in the past, but Zeals do allow for a lot of flexibility, so we'll see where Ruler does want to go. Nemesis clears out this minion wave, but he's not going to dare step foot past the river, as Fnatic are definitely struggling to find any advantages. 4 members of Gen.G leading the tables when it comes to the gold. Rascal actually with the most. We've spoken about how rich Ruler and BDD are, but Rascal actually has the most money right now. The 2-1 and 2 Renekton.
Very big up there, already has, all right, well, we got a little bit of a trade, but it doesn't seem to matter. Solar Flare not gonna land. Selfmade trying to come down here.
Yeah, Flash ulti is gonna trade the Flash out of Rascal. But a trade for flashes isn't necessarily what Fnatic want. They do want to be able to take down this turret, though, as there's the Zenith Blade. Rascal actually deciding just to tidy up this turret, as Hill is saying. Might just go down here. The turret is going to finish him off, but can they grab Rascal is the question. Meek is so strong, he almost had the Ruthless Predator back available. But in the meantime, Gen.G will take down this inner turret with the help of Shirley. She's not actually required for this one, but we'll see whether they can deal with the inhibitor. She got very confused for a moment there. Shirley, it's absolutely okay. Just put your face into this turret instead, and she does so. They'll get rid of that. The Dazzle is too much for Nemesis. As now, we'll see whether Gen.G do decide to take the inhibitor. Looks like Shirley, she just wants it anyway. As BDD, he wasn't even there. He was taking down the top lane, and now Selfmade finds himself face-to-face with Ruler, and this is a very different Aphelios. Moonlight Vigil just not long enough. Selfmade will make his way out. Oh dear, I feel like the years are just coming on way too quickly, LS.
December 11th, 1918 is when this champion was born, and we can definitely see it. It's been a while since we've really seen Aphelios in action. Hope to see a lot more of him next year.
Yeah.
All the new items and whatnot. We'll see what he can manage to do there.
I feel like as a champion, he probably should have a lot more longevity than the others. As Rascal is going to be able to get that flash out. Let's have a look at how he does manage to get such a decent trade underneath this turret.
Slice and Dice is in, clears the minion wave. And then he's trying to hide around the turret. He gets one of the kills, skills the Slice and Dice mid-fight. That was very nice.
A little bit. Didn't have it off cooldown in time or anything like that, but definitely a decent way to go 1-for-1 for Rascal there underneath that turret. Bwipo has that ult back available, but we're going to be waiting a couple of minutes' time before the Unstoppable Force Flash combo is going to be up. And this lead is only extending. And oh man, like LS, we talk about this scaling advantage that Fnatic have, but I feel like there's this added threat of a 3-0 Aphelios that's ahead by 30 CS and has a billion plates inside of him. Like, does that change the scaling question? I feel like it might. Let's have a look at this team fight here as the culling. The entire thing going to be eaten by Bwipo. Takes a large chunk as well off to the side. As you can see, Gen.G, they are hungry for this team fight. Oh dear, Ruler trying to take matters into his own hands, positioning so aggressively, but you can see Fnatic, what they want is this outer turret in mid lane. They'll take what they can get, and being able to trade an objective at this point in time is good for Fnatic.
Well, Gen.G are very happy with this trade, though. They now get a Mountain Dragon for themselves, and this is really big because no one on the side of Fnatic are ever getting any sort of pen. So it also brings them one dragon away from Mountain Soul, that's going to end the game. Malphite, you're done dealing damage. Lulu, stop tickling people.
Ooh, Selfmade. He's looking for Ruler. Ruler does have his flash available, but not a lot of his health bar. Dawning Shadow going to miss the damage. This Gen.G will be able to get themselves out of here. Ruler, all he really wanted was a Bramble back, and he will be able to take that. Primal Surge keeps him healthy as well, but they got his cleanse. Did Fnatic.
Bwipo trying to run up into top lane. Selfmade going to make his way over to the Grom. Top wave is also coming in. Now, this is one of the benefits of these very long lanes for Fnatic, is generally it should be pretty easy for them to remain safe while farming. And so we'll see what everyone ends up doing with it. 8,000 gold lead here almost for Gen.G. Their items are just light years ahead of their opponents. I'm not sure how close BDD is to level 13. I would imagine he's very close, and that's going to be a 2-level discrepancy in mid. Selfmade, the only one who's still up in EXP on this. Oh no, actually, Bwipo's ahead, which is interesting.
Yeah, up by a little bit. You can see the Renekton is in the lane, so he might be able to get there before Bwipo makes his way back down. And 13 is going to tick over. But Bwipo certainly with a bit more experience. And, okay, Solar Flare is going to be thrown out to try and find an Aphelios who just uses his B button in order to escape. He is a Time Lord after all.
Well, looks like Senna almost has the Black Cleaver. That's going to be very important for Graves inside of the fights.
Yeah, it feels like there's a lot of utility on Fnatic, and it feels like a lot of it is rotating around Selfmade, being able to get work done. And look, to his credit, he's ahead in comparison to him versus Clid. So let's see whether he can live up to it. A couple of serrated Dirks worth of lethality in his back pocket. As Hilly just going to Hex Flash over the wall, always fun. And look at this bevy of wards he has available to him. Gen.G certainly have taken their foot off the gas just a little bit. Blast Cone used just to get them over towards this top side. Fnatic with the inside track on this mid lane. This is a very long lane. Not a lot of turrets in here at all, but Inna's still remaining for Gen.G as Whippo over the side. Remember, he has that R button. You can see that's why Gen.G are playing so carefully, wanting to try and keep themselves spread, not wanting that to be the end of them. As Nemesis, maybe caught out, but he's able to go Skippy. Yep. Runs away. As Rascal, in the meantime, is just going to be taking down this inner turret. So while there was that game of Do-Si-Do being played, the Crocodile is just, no. The Lizard Brain working out, he's like, must kill turret. So...
Okay, well, they do this pretty quick, in case anyone forgot.
Oh my god, yep. That's Severum and the Calibrum certainly going to be able to net them a Baron. As that is going to go down very, very quickly. Rascal in with the dominance. Whippo is very tanky, but that is a huge snare from the Dazzle. And the Cosmic Radiance means no one's killing Gen.G at this point in time. And that's Hylissang falling down. But that's a really great ultimate out of Whippo. As now Life trying to keep his whole team alive and doing a great job of it. Fnatic just need to do damage, but they can't do it.
Yeah.
Clid gets over the wall. Life does the same thing with his flash. And now Selfmade, he just wants something, anything, off the back end of this. As Gen.G, they go in the wrong direction, trying to corral them Fnatic. And now the Dazzle comes in yet again. Clid dives on top of Reckless, unable to lock down that kill just yet. Selfmade in trouble as Ruler. Oh my god, the AoE and Gen.G, they say no. And Aphelios says, how many years would you like, my friends? As they're going to be sent a second seed, potentially, off the back of a fight like that.
And it looks like this might even be the end of the game. The death timers are so high. They have the Baron minions. Aphelios and Lucian are very good at chewing through turrets.
Oh, yeah.
And this might just be it.
It's looking like it. 22 minutes. This might just be the fastest game at Worlds so far. As this Nexus turret goes down, the second will follow. Hylissang trying to do what he can. Gets a stun onto Life, but that's not going to last for too long. And the Nexus will be taken down. Gen.G, after such a rough start to the day, come out with a 23-minute victory.